Hello and welcome to Shoot to Kill, Right to Thrill with Ken and Will.
Right before this, you were going, okay, I got something. I don't know if it's appropriate or not. I think that's actually pretty appropriate. Welcome. So I figured we change things up a little bit this time around and take a look at a thing on the internet.
This is definitely a thing on the internet that you have introduced me to that I had no idea what the hell it was and still only have the vaguest knowledge of what the hell it is.
All right, well, I think it's probably best we're going to be keeping it on this just beautiful, badly designed opening page for a little while and give you a bit of a history lesson. So Steve Ditko, I feel like you know more about Steve Ditko.
Not really, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't know a whole lot. Like, I know he is a comic book creator, but I don't research comic book creators. I don't care enough to.
Aha. See, that's where I come in. I always care too much about things and get real angry. So, Steve Ditko is a Golden Age comics guy. So, he worked with Stan Lee in creating a lot of things. He was instrumental in Spider-Man, I believe, not as a creator, but as a really, really important, formative designer. Like, he made the iconic Spider-Man design.
Okay.
When you watch the 60s cartoon and it's why?
Looking at his artwork, just looking at the cover of this.
Yeah.
I see Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that sounds accurate.
That's one of his major works as well. But that's one of the things about him. Mr. A and Steve Ditko have an interesting relationship because, again, Steve Ditko's a dude from the 60s at the height of the anti-communist, post-McCarthy, Cold War era, and he is an Ayn Rand libertarian. Now, I don't mean to get political, which is why I'm making fun of libertarianism, because I feel like it's just batshit enough to be outside of controversy, you know? It's just weird.
Yeah, it's kind of that whole, let's not get political, but, mass genocide of people is kind of bad.
Yeah, but we're not here to talk about Ayn Rand, even though Ayn Rand is very influential. We're here to talk about Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko was heavily influenced by Ayn Rand, and in particular, he embodied those philosophies to an insanely fervent hardline degree, to the point where I think genuinely he could have had a better life if he wasn't such an ass.
He could be at the level of Stan Lee.
Well, and that's exactly it. So he worked with Stan Lee a lot, but while Stan Lee was very okay with being no, I'm okay having bosses. I'm okay working with IPs long term and working with producers and publishers and stuff like that. But Steve Ditko did not. So while people like Stan Lee basically juggernauted through the industry, Steve Ditko was a mercenary. He went from publication to publication, from place to place. He published an insane amount of stuff. You look at his history and it's genuinely just half the comics ever.
Oh, okay.
But he basically embodied the Fountainhead style. No, nobody tells me what to do with my creation because I am a sovereign creator of my creation and I choose what to do with it. So help me, I'll dynamite this building because I'm not listening to your minor architectural changes. And he did that with his comics. He totally refused to come back to a bunch of different IPs because they didn't give him 100% editorial control.
Yikes.
Now, Mr. A is a echo of a character called The Question that Steve Ditko also made. Mr. A is the non-Comics Code compliant one, and Mr. A is Steve Ditko's only true his work kind of thing.
No one else has even touched it. This is his.
Yes, this is his only sovereign creation. He actually didn't want it to be collected. He wanted all this shit destroyed after he died because you'll see that the more we get into this, trying to find motive is a fruitless question. Motive, the contradictions happen so quickly and so, tumbling over each other like someone trying to run past hurdles without jumping over them that you just kind of go, okay, let's move on. Let's not talk about Steve Ditko's motives. He was just like that.
Yeah.
Now, anyway, so this is stuff that like he didn't want to be collected, but like, sorry, dude, you didn't anticipate the internet.
Yeah.
Now it belongs to society.
Yeah. No.
And it is all for the better because this is actually a really influential comic in comics history. Rorschach from Watchmen is actually a parody of Mr. A, which is basically Mr. A, but the actual dude behind the mask is like kind of a like conservative talk radio madman, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So without further ado, which is to say, we're about to get into a lot of ado because the next one's the editorial page, but let's get into it.
Ah, yes. Holy crap, the editorial has to be beautiful.
All right, so do you wanna take us from here?
Oh god. Okay, I'll just say also I'm probably gonna at some point mention the Ichabod during this because holy fuck, there's a reason we have editors. And the Ichabod is the reason we have fucking editors. All right. So, about Mr. A. A is A. That is all the explanation needed to describe Mr. A.
All right, now let's pause.
Thank you for that statement.
From your perspective, is it?
No, I need so much more. I have no idea. I have no clue. What the fuck? Yes, that is a factual statement. A is A. Yes. Logically, that is true. But that tells me nothing about your fucking story.
Alright, well, luckily, all of Mr. A is describing Mr. A, so let's continue. Also, like, I know that normally when you're reading comics, like, you take roles and perspectives and characters, and, like, someone's like, oh, I'll do the text. That is just not feasible for this, so just... you let me know when it's my turn to take over.
Yeah, I am assuming that Mr. A talks a fuck ton in his head about everything that is wrong in the world.
Yeah.
That is the impression I got from your description of Mr. A. Is he just talks a lot in his head, and there's like maybe one person going, hey, Mr. A, how's your day going? And then he goes, this fucking idiot, and rants for like 3 pages.
Well, unlike many of today's contemporary heroes, which this first came out in like the 60s, he does not hide behind his words or mask his true feelings behind meaningless actions. Mr. A and his philosophy is readily apparent. It is as blatant as it is honest. Like, here's the crux. Like, basically the reason that this entire thing is nonsense. The basis for Mr. A is that there just is a rational true world, and that he is capable of perceiving it perfectly, and thus that is all the will he needs to do anything he wants.
Yeah, he can't be held accountable for basically anything because it is him being honest. Like, he can't be held accountable for his actions because his actions were just part of his philosophy.
Yeah, like this thing basically is like solipsistic fundamentally, because the entire basis is, suppose I am always right and everything I do is correct.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how this goes. The concept behind Mr. A is not new. He draws heavily upon the theory of libertarianism. This philosophy is, to many extents, the logical arm of the old American concept of rugged individualism.
Rugged individualism. I love that italicized rugged.
Rugged.
It just reminds me of when, like, an advertisement says, this is for men. Like, that's what that reeks of.
Like the truck commercials narrated by, like, Mike Rowe. God, I hate Mike Rowe. Have you ever researched who the guy actually is and what he does with his time, money, and energy?
No. I don't know.
We don't have the time to do for it.
I'm gonna quickly Google so I can get a thing
from Dirty Jobs.
Oh yes, gotcha.
So, like, we can't do this here, but basically, if you look into this dude, he is the most snide, greasy, two-faced scumbag in the world. I am willing to put my bottom dollar down on that, genuinely.
I believe that. But, I mean, Dodge commercials and Ram commercials, they're just so good in the fact that they're so bad.
The thing is, there's actually a few Trump commercials that came out during his presidency that, like, used, I believe, micro-narrating and, like, a lot of the same editors. And so they're basically those commercials, but just instead of a truck, it's Trump. It's weird.
I'm just picturing, like, go down to your local dealership and pick up Trump today. Just pick him up, take him home. Okay.
All right. So in recent years, Ayn Rand and Robert Hyland, blah, 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 talking about libertarianism. Many of them predict that it will soon be the dominant philosophy of the American right wing, which is weirdly correct and incorrect. Like, is it the dominant philosophy of the actual people who do American right-wing politics? No. Is it the dominant philosophy of the people that vote for them? Yes. Does that make sense? No. Mr. A, however, transcends partisan politics. He espouses a set of moral values not fettered in politics or pragmatism.
Yeah, not fettered to politics at all.
Not at all.
Not in the slightest. You either despise Mr. A or agree with him slightly, you know.
Yeah.
As with the character's own philosophy, there is no middle ground. There is no gray where Mr. A is concerned. He leaves no room for hedging.
So then we got a whole bunch of stuff. I'll give you a quick scan of it to save some time.
Yeah, it's describing his first appearance and all of that. And I imagine Ditko stroking his ego a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Like, it... Basically, it goes there, talks about how, like, Mr. A's appeared in some places before, then it goes about Steve Ditko. It's one of the most acclaimed artists in the business today. He has
in the 60s that was true, but you don't have
this
to write
is the thing,
it in
yeah,
an
like,
editorial.
I'm pretty sure this is just him writing this about himself.
He's like, the same could be said right now for, like, Neil Gaiman as far as, like, horror fantasy authors are concerned. Like, any sort of, like, fantasy or horror, Neil Gaiman is, like, one of the best authors. But I don't think he would ever put that in his editorial.
To be fair, that's kind of how he became one of the most famous authors, because it turns out someone just putting their raw, unfettered self and values and politics into something without a publisher, as you're about to see, doesn't always go so great. And sometimes you gotta have a little humility.
Yeah.
There's a whole paragraph here being like, even though Ditko left a strip, most fans consider his rendition to be the definitive one.
Yeah, okay, bud. Alright.
Okay, talking about blah, 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 blah. Also, the guy just transparently says, like, also, yeah, this is like this is the question.
This is the question, yes. This is the question.
Okay, a bunch of crap.
Jesus Christ, he really likes to talk about all the other works that he did.
Oh, actually, this is Joe Brancatelli. I believe this is a later republication, technically, but...
okay.
Oops! More editorial!
What the fuck?
Alright, you want to go on this one?
Any man who claims the right to another's efforts or life automatically renounces the concept of rights and their protection of his rights to his own legitimate efforts and life. Okay. A claim to a contradiction, or wanting it both ways at the same time, is a wish for the irrational to come true, the impossible to become the possible. It is a confession of a wish to live in a fake, unreal world, and it can only be attempted by holding and acting on an anti-life premise.
Some men respect life. There's another's. Some men abuse life.
Okay, going back to that first paragraph there.
Yeah.
Anyone who claims rights to another's efforts or life automatically renounces his concepts of rights. That is so fucking neckbeardy.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot tell you how goddamn neckbeardy that sounds. Just being like, oh, well, you know, you have this thing, so maybe I'll just kill you and take it. Like, fuck off, dude. Fuck off. I am not renouncing my right to live by claiming something. Fuck off.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So basically, this guy's saying people respect life, blah, blah, blah. Some people do both. The whole thing, the means of the respecter is through reason. The end is a life proper for a man of holding valid values and pursuing productive goals. Irrationality, misery, destruction, something, something, something. How a man will live follows from how he uses his faculty of survival reason. So basically, this guy assumes that if you are the rationalist, big brainiest boy, that is being morally correct. Which is, it's one of those things where it's like, that is actually a valid, like, philosophical ideal from antiquity.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. That is some old school ass thinking right there.
That's basically Socrates. I know it makes you feel smart, but you're 2,500 years too late.
Yeah.
So, and this comes back to libertarianism and Ayn Rand specifically. Ayn Rand called herself a philosopher and filled the role of a philosopher and was seen as a philosopher, but did not engage in any of the, like, academic and formal practices of philosophy, which basically means, like, if Ayn Rand's ideas were a science, they just kind of were published without peer review. And so whenever you see, not just like this, like the Mr. A comic or like Ayn Rand's work, but a lot of stuff that's based in libertarianism, you'll see that it's like one of those things where it's like, if you had spoken to maybe a few other people, they would be willing to go, oh, you're thinking of the Socratic method. Oh, you're thinking of like Aristotelian value ethics.
Yeah.
Like, these are things you learn in Philosophy 101 classes, but it turns out when you have ideas based on how you're super sovereign and you don't need anyone, and you are a rugged individualist, and, like, no one's allowed to take anything from you, you don't tend to collaborate with your peers.
That's surprising on that one.
So, I'm just trying to scan and see if any actual additional things are said.
It's mostly just like, from what I've gleaned on this, it's just like, what justification is there to take a man's life? Like, but so like you literally said that claiming rights over something else, you lose your right to live. Like, you lose your rights, including your right to live, which means the other man can kill you justifiably. Which is bullshit. Yeah,
so this is where the comic book superhero part comes in, because the thing that makes Mr. A a superhero is not any power or means or tools. It's that he is genuinely just the rationalist man. That is Mr. A's superpower.
Oh my god, he fell into a vat of radioactive rationalism.
So this is where it starts in. He starts talking like, if no one has the power of death, can there be any justification to deliberately take? And he talks like, yes. Actually, I have to run. I realized that my laptop is plugged in. Be right back.
Okay. Well, now it's me just partially discussing how I have no idea what the fuck I'm in for right now. Oh god, this is going to be chaos incarnate. This is just going to be me ripping into this dude, and I really hope I'm not ripping into him too hard. I just hate these arguments. These arguments are the dumbest arguments. All life is conditional. Survival is not automatically guaranteed to any living entity. For a form of life to survive, it must fulfill the needs required by its specific nature. For man, it is nature as a rational animal. Will, what the fuck is a rational animal?
Well, is this like a exasperated haha what the fuck is this, or a genuine question? Because this is another thing where it's like antiquity tier philosophy.
I mean, my dog is fucking rational. It knows to sit and wait and it will get treats. That is a rational thought. It is a rational animal. So it is in the nature of a dog for it to be a rational animal. God damn it.
Yeah, so the whole thing, you gotta live rationally. Life is given, but survival is not. So you have to actively... So basically, life is like given to you, and then they're like, all right, keep juggling, keep juggling, keep juggling, because if you drop the balls, you deserve to die. Like,
man,
that's the whole of the ideal.
Sure sucks if an accident happens and, like, you're no longer able to be as productive as you were, and then, well, I guess that's it. You're fucked. Fuck you and everyone you care about.
Yeah. Anyways, without further ado, finally, the comic?
The comic, question mark.
Who dares to claim he is above the collective good, public truth, right of society, the law, and can rationally justify his right to kill? Mr. A!
This is so like James Bond spy-ass bullshit.
Yep.
Look at this one. Like, I'm imagining, if this is made into a movie, the ground is shattering, the body is falling, the body will continue to fall while all this weird psychedelic shit around about guns happens all around him, set to some woman singing about how awesome Mr. A is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Alright, you ready for some expert writing?
Okay. Lily, come play with us.
No, I'm going home.
What?
What?
Who? Lily, you're coming with us.
No, you have no choice. Leave me alone. Don't argue. Just come.
Oh my god.
Ow! Help! Shut up, you vicious brat. Grab and
fucking
gag
bite.
the little
Good
animal.
job. She got the fucking whole hand in that bite.
Yeah. No, on a buster head. We weren't spotted. Get her into the car and let's go.
You think you weren't spotted? Jesus.
Yeah. So...
What? You
Just
kidnapped
immediately-
Lily? Oh my god.
Alright, look... Just to be clear, we are going to experience like 6 straight pages of misery porn from here on in.
Oh my god. Alright, so I guess content warning on this shit.
Yeah. But like, My Little Pony tier content warning?
Oh yeah.
Like, genuinely, just... I don't think this guy understands what crimes are, who commits them, and what motivates that.
We got the kid. Now ask for the money.
Yeah. It's up to you whether your girl lives or dies.
Oh my god. It's just like, we kidnapped this guy. Too bad he's from like a lower middle class family, so he can't actually pay.
So you go back, and then he said he is only too glad to pay. And please, don't touch my darling Lily, please. Before long payoff time. Great, huh? And we get thought bubbles.
What the fuck is that chick wearing? Look at those goddamn pants.
Yeah, it's a choice.
Was she wearing a lizard costume when she ran by to steal this child? Like...
Yeah, just like, that was the disguise to get into the park and close to the family, like, oh, I'm just a furry in the 60s, don't mind me. Alright, so for the next few pages, do you want to be the bad guys or the misery porn?
I'll be the misery porn, because I feel like I can really give emotional weight to that.
All right, so there is something I want to note here. He took a lot of time to really consider how they tied up the kidnapped girl.
Yeah, like we got 2 ropes on the arm, a rope on the leg, I'm assuming a rope around the foot. We got ropes. Oh, her wrists go to the bottom of the chair leg, not just straight up tied. Like, and then she's also blindfolded and gagged with the same tie. Yeah, that's intricate.
Like, genuinely, I'm not going to go too in depth for NSFW reasons, but this is a cohesive method of tying someone to a chair, which either A, that means this dude's a weird kidnapping dude, or B, just genuinely, he was like, I want to draw a little girl tied up. I better use realistic bondage.
Yeah, 100%. Gotta use that realistic bondage when tying up, 12-year-old? Fucking Christ. I'm so scared, sob. I can't see. Hurt. Can't see. Here, my face hurts, sob. What do you mean? You could totally hear. You could totally hear through the fucking... Okay. Mommy and Daddy will be worried about me, sob. Why won't they let me go home? My arms are so sore. I can't get up. Move. What are they gonna do to me? I don't want to downplay the seriousness of, child kidnapping and stuff like that, but I can't get up. Move.
Yeah. Where are they? What if something went wrong? Got picked up? Maybe double cross? Leave me holding the kid. Where? What's that? Cops! Please, no! Why did I... We got the dough, I told you. Sure shortcut to success. Be practical. Get it. Anyways, you can see it. It works!
Is anyone here? Will I ever be set free? And the yippee, look at that dance move, too. Clearly.
That kick is dangerously close to the kid's head.
Maybe it actually does kick the kid's head, and she's like, is anyone here?
Yeah. We'll be safe once we get rid of the kid. For good. But you said she wouldn't be hurt. Can't risk letting her go. She dies now, and we know we're safe. But could kill? Murd? Can't do it. No.
How long must I suffer? Why? Sob.
What have I done to make them so mean?
And she can clearly hear them.
But, genuinely, it's more and more concerning. He went through the time to basically capture every possible angle.
Yeah, seriously, we do a full 360 here on this. Around this girl. They're dancing around this girl.
Yeah. Alright, then you take her out. You set her free. You risk getting caught. Me? Alone? It's not fair.
Oh, God.
So they pass the dude a knife. Me? No!
That's mean. Bad. I don't understand. Why so mean?
When will it... it's so gratuitous constantly. When will I, a sweet innocent child, be free and safe with my parents?
Yeah.
I do not understand what could motivate someone to do such a cruel thing. My God, what went wrong? How did I ever get to this?
Judging by the looks of things, you used up Daddy's money a little bit too much and then fell in with the wrong crowd. That fucking
maybe, I don't know. So now, as this guy's leaning in about 6 inches, all shaky from little girl head,
yeah,
we start going to... It's unclear, but I think we start going to thought bubbles in the, tumble land. There's a tumble land. As we get through here, it'll be clear that there's, a tumble space.
Okay, what's a fucking tumble space?
Alright.
Is that like Sherlock Holmes' mind palace?
Sorry, I actually plugged my laptop in the wrong socket.
God damn it, Will. Need to know these answers. What the hell is going on?
Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's better if we just sit on the idea that there is a tumble space and think about it a moment.
Oh, okay, I'll think about this tumble space.
It takes too much time and effort to get ahead, and no guarantees. I want wealth, security, success now, somehow. We got an easy way. A shortcut. Kidnapping? No. It's a crime. Wrong. Risky. Use your head. We wouldn't do it if our plan wasn't flawless. Being a... I can't do this voice for that long. It's going to destroy my throat. Being honest means accepting handicaps. Wise up. You can't be decent and also be a success. It's always been take or be taken. Yeah, why try to be good when you get nowhere?
Wow, he fucking got corrupted quick.
Yeah.
This dude fell from rationalism so goddamn quick.
And now we move to the dark side of tumble space.
Oh yeah, he's in the dark path now. He's no longer walking in the light.
This one time, stop being honest and stupid. One job, a sure thing, your cut, tax-free, 25 grand. Guys, kill for less. One bad thing, and then for the rest of my life, I will be good. I swear to God, just let me get away. This one time, get away with evil. No one will get hurt.
Sorry, that line just... We're, like, Mr. A is a comic about morality and everything like this. And yet he uses things like get away with evil. And not get away with murder. Murder is an action that could potentially be morally good. Killing Hitler, for instance.
Yeah.
Morally good. This... God damn it.
Yeah. So he's getting close. Killer. Then we split the dough. 2 ways after we get rid of him. When will they treat me right? Act nice. What are they doing? Please, somebody help me.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And then, of course, the knocking on the door.
To which, ready for the dumbest fucking superhero gambit?
Yeah, hit me with the dumbest fucking superhero gambit in the world. Oh, no. That card! He's here!
And now we go from comic, not full way. Now we're going to start the official, like, one step in, one step out. This is now about 50-50 screed. White and black is Mr. A's symbol of justice, of non-contradictory identification. Good is good and evil is evil, and neither can be both at the same time. Each is the antithesis of the other. So if the good is to survive, no compromise with evil is possible.
Yep. Sure.
And now, look at this fucking comic book evil. We'll use the kid as a shield. Mr. A won't dare to try and stop us. What? So he's just a man-ass man coming in through the window.
He just walks through the window. No big deal. Don't shoot me. Please don't shoot me. If only someone would help me. It's not like you can fucking hear. God damn it.
So the guy comes in, listen, I'm not like them. I'm not bad. I deserve another chance. Let me go. And he goes, shut up and move to the side. Don't they care that I'm scared, hurt, sore? I want to go home.
Clearly they don't fucking care. You literally just overheard them talking about you, and I know that because you said, why are they being so mean?
So, tumble, jump, bonk.
Yep, fight scene ensues.
He's stealing my share of the money.
It looks like he just fucking abandoned his girlfriend to fight Mr. A.
I worked for it. It's rightfully mine.
Oh, fuck. Leopard print is putting up a fight. I also
like,
just realized that, yes, that is leopard print. That is what that is meant to be. 100%.
Steve Ditko does know how to draw. This becomes very quickly clear. Like, this is, if anything, really also useful for comics history because, like, pages and spreads like this are kind of how people started doing things from then on in.
Yeah.
Throw the gun over here or I'll kill the kid.
Yeah, it's not like he could just reach out and grab your arm.
And I'd be surrendering both of our lives. If anyone's going to die, it is not going to be the innocent. So literally, this dude is running around just, like, talking on top of a dead body, like, while this kidnapped girl is, like,
I'm scared,
gagged and
help
bound.
Me.
Success and survival at another man's expense is not a price anyone can impose without having also to face it and pay. So...
Look at that smug expression on Mr. A. Yeah,
that is
I just killed someone.
The best part is, it's a steel mask. That is his permanent expression. So,
He's
without any clear...
smug as shit, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So it's completely unclear as to how they get from point A to point B. This is the 60s, so, like... A woman is undergoing emotional distress. The man is saying, don't do that. The doctor will give you drugs. And the guy is about to, like, chemically sedate her.
Yeah.
Just casual. Just a little bit of 60s action.
Casual sedation, why not?
It's hysteria. It's women being alarmed disease, guys. We know what this is.
When in doubt, pump them full of drugs.
Yep. It's still kind of true today.
It's still pretty true today. Sometimes for good reason, sometimes not. So, what kind of people are they? Why are they so cruel to us? Sleep, rest, when I keep seeing her helplessness, hearing her unheeded cries, feeling her suffering, yet unable to comfort her. Please, inject me full of fucking Valium. Cancer is a noble destroyer compared to any man who inflicts suffering on innocent lives. Nothing can justify inflicting an unchosen, undeserved pain. That's right, people. Consent. Always consent. That is the takeaway that I will take from that statement, and I'm not even fucking touching that cancer bit with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, it's a bit of a yike.
God damn.
Like, meanwhile, this whole scree going on outside. Yet many people think action against the guilty is inhuman. Justice to them is to treat those who initiate force and inflict pain much better than those who must suffer the chosen force and pain. All in the name of concern for human life. What an obscenity. Mercy for the guilty, indifference to the suffering innocent victims, and justice for no one.
Is that just a cop? Who the fuck is talking?
I think so.
It was a doctor before, but now it's just some random beat cop is fucking waxing poetic on innocence?
So then we immediately, without any sort of clear transition,
go back to these guys.
So yeah, we'll never be safe until we get him. You decoy him. I'll blast him.
And me too, double-crosser. That's true. I don't know why you would ever trust this dude. Because the dude literally just pushed his girlfriend into Mr. A.
Yep.
And said, you fight, we run.
So basically it's like, oh, he's over there. Has just a wooden cudgel for some reason.
I imagine he found, like, there's some broken bits of wood there by Mr. A, so I imagine it's like a chair leg or some shit like that.
Yeah, like there's clearly like several different cudgels he could have chosen.
Yeah, and he chose the shortest one. Not to overcompensate, obviously.
Anyways, he bonks him on the back of the head and gives him the coronavirus.
That is 100% how that is drawn, yes.
Now, After I have bonked a man upon the head, I can start being honest. Good.
Oh, that's fucking great.
Anyways, now this dude just kind of waits.
Dirty symbols won't get away.
And then he gets bonked in the back.
Yeah, and like any professional football player, he drops his thing and it's all good. Mm-hmm. Fumbles the ball.
Like, there's not even a muzzle flare or really significant bang. Smoke. Just a little like.
Yeah, it's just bang.
Guns aren't like obscenely loud, but they're louder than that.
Yeah.
Like, even if that's the tiniest of 22s, that's still going to be at least, like, as big as the oh god, you know?
A fucking cap gun. He just scared the dude. He didn't actually shoot him. It was all cap guns. He couldn't afford a real gun.
Anyways, after that whole screed about, like, depriving people of their things, guy just goes...
And takes his gun.
Just like, oh... He doesn't, like, kick it away. He's like, no, this is mine now.
This is mine. I'm gonna take this. It doesn't matter, because I'm just gonna, shoot you anyway, but, Oh, he doesn't shoot them. Okay. Cap gun, all good.
So, yeah, both of these guys just, like, bleeding out in pain. Guy walks up.
Oh, yeah, I guess the dude's already dead from a head wound, and the dude got hit by a cap gun shot, so,
So please have mercy. I'm in pain. I don't want to suffer. Please, help me. Anyways, guy comes back and he goes, Lily, don't be afraid. I'm your friend. It's all over. You're safe. I'm going to free you, then take you home. Your mother and father are waiting for you. I promise you, no one is going to hurt you anymore.
I'm still keeping the money, though. That's mine. I picked it up. Finders keepers.
Someone really cares what happened to me, that I didn't deserve to be hurt, to suffer.
That girl needs therapy, stat.
Yep. So they walk away from, like, deeply abandoned factory.
Yeah.
Anyways, and she goes, why did they do this to me? And then the guy immediately starts.
Yeah.
They claim it is all right to get what they want or need by making you and others suffer to provide it. Their satisfaction is to come through inflicting suffering on others.
What? I'm like 12, dude. I don't understand.
Meanwhile, like, he's just walking away as they wail in pain.
It's everyone's duty to help the suffering. Fucking Christ. Who the fuck shot and bleeding out on the floor is just like, it's everyone's job to take care of me.
Anyways, so he just teleports back to, like, tumble space, to the light side of tumble space.
Yeah.
So now this traumatized 12-year-old continues, they're calling. Will you help them? No. Why won't you? I won't help anyone who believes he has a right to hurt you. Don't you care what happens to bad people? No, I only care what happens to the innocent and good people.
Jesus Christ.
And then she goes,
afraid of them, but I'm not afraid of you. You're not mean.
I treat people the way they act towards you in life. I grant them what their actions deserve and have earned. I don't reward the bad or cheat the good.
Jesus Christ, this is like taking the do unto others mantra to the next fucking level.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, teleports through tumble space to get back to this house, where the cop presumably is like, we must not give up hope, we must believe the irrational, injustice, and suffering are the abnormal in life. That reason, happiness are the normal, and justice will triumph. Like, just having a normal one back at home.
Yeah, normal conversation. Rationality.
Yeah, let's just take this in for a moment.
Okay, we got mutual consent on there. All right. Mm-hmm. Not retaliatory force. Nope. Nope.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have corruption. crime, force, compromise.
Yeah, literally like force and compromise are in there. And then meanwhile you have retaliatory force.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Oh, fucking Christ.
So that's a Mr. A comic.
Jesus. Okay, my initial thoughts are Ditko, while being a great artist, doesn't understand space.
Yeah.
Because people teleport around the fucking room. Like, if you go back to where they're administering a fuck ton of drugs to the mom.
Okay. Where's there we go.
Okay. Yeah, so looking at it, she does a full 180 just for the sake of framing. That is true. Yeah. She is like spinning around the room in this goddamn situation, and there's so many times that happens just to fit the left to right reading of a panel. Mm-hmm. The way he draws it is really fucking annoying.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna run off, put some coffee in the microwave, take a quick old piss, and then you want to jump into the next one?
All right, sure.
Woo!
Woo! God.
I'm just gonna leave you on the cancer panel.
Yeah, leave me on the cancer panel. Fucking Christ, why is he leaving me on the cancer panel? This, so far, I have been thoroughly disappointed. It's just, the level of contradiction so far has been insane. Like, he's totally willing to hurt others and do everything there. I guess that's retaliatory force is the justification on that. But holy shit. It's so dumb. Like, what are the cops doing? What the fuck is that cop doing? I don't understand. It's so dumb. It's so needlessly dumb that it's just, why does this need to exist? This is like the communist propaganda comics that you see. It's just absolutely fucking terrible. I'm not saying that capitalism is right or anything like that. Just holy fucking shit. Propaganda comics are the fucking worst because they're so blatantly see-through. I don't understand why it exists. I don't understand. I do like the fact that he wears a metal mask that is constantly in a smug expression, though. That is truly the greatest of character designs, just constantly having a ha-ha grin on his face.
Hello?
I was just discussing, so far the only positive I have is character with a perpetual shit-eating grin.
It is powerful. Anyway, so we return in space?
Sure, we're in the tumble zone.
In a place.
Yeah.
In evasion, crime, robbery, murders, Ditko's Mr. A, copyright 1972, Steve Ditko. Okay. So we are reminded no man can have it both ways. Yep. When he refuses to uphold the truth, he betrays the good, but he will not get away with it. He will constantly be on the scales, fearfully waiting what he dreads most, the verdict of justice.
Okay, so you know how most superheroes have like that quick sort of one-line motto and stuff like that? Like Batman is I'm Batman. He's not the hero the city needs, he's the hero the city deserves. Or the hero the city deserves, it's the hero the city needs, whatever the fuck the line was. Meanwhile, this motherfucker is doing an entire Jesse James ass to protect the world from devastation, to unite all evils within our nation. Like, he's like, can you just imagine every single time he shows up to a place, he says that every single fucking time?
I'm trying to think of ways that you could summarize the Mr. A philosophy, and genuinely the shortest I think I can get it down to is 2 sentences or axioms. Axiom 1, there is a morality that is true, and Mr. A knows it. And then axiom B, he is right.
Period.
Yeah, which, like, I can't help but sit there and go, this isn't a morality. This is just you kind of projecting a personality disorder. Like really what the axioms are.
Wasn't that the whole point of Rorschach? Like, he was just a dude that thought he was constantly right, but meanwhile, he was a dude with a mental disorder. Like, he needed treatment.
Like, the dude's walking around holding a doomsday sign and complaining about all the whores and politicians.
Yeah.
Do read Watchmen, by the way.
Oh,
Don't watch the Zack Snyder version. He does not understand anything.
I have the motion comic of it, which is 100% like true to form of Watchmen. It is literally panel by panel they go through it, and honestly, it's fucking nice. It's really fucking good.
It does a lot to like de-glorify, if anything, like mundanify violence. Like, it makes it so that, like, what you're looking at is cool buildings and interesting people and stuff in the background, and when someone's getting killed, it's kind of like, and then this happened, and then we keep going.
And then we move on.
Yeah.
So what about Rex Grain? As a man, a reporter, and as Mr. A, is guided by the principle of justice. Every man should be recognized for what he is and treated accordingly. I imagine he works for, like, the equivalent of, like, TMZ. He's just some asshole reporter that shoves a camera in people's faces.
I do like the fact that there's a through line, which is they have this, like, default-ass character model as the character.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a character design. This is what happens when you skip the character design. This is Greg Bailey. This is literally us making a joke out of going, what's the default? And then going, oh no, a medium-build white blonde dude. I don't like that that's default.
I know, right? That should not be default. Oh god, this fucking line. Just because I made a bad mistake, am I black to be forever held as evil?
Yep.
Oh, the 60s were a wild time.
Yep. I'll get you, Grain, for putting me away.
A reporter? Shouldn't that be the lawyer?
Right? Why is he there?
Like, why the fuck is a reporter there? Or,
like,
oh my god,
was like, hey,
the fucking opportunistic nature of this fucking son of a bitch. He goes and solves crimes and beats the shit out of people, and then just like takes off the mask, comes back as Grain, and like takes a couple of photos, and it's just like, yeah, cops in there, I got the scoop. What an opportunistic son of a bitch. At least Spider-Man just takes pictures of himself chilling around, New York.
Yeah, it's literally like Spider-Man, but doing it an asshole way. Cold, this is your home for the next 15 years. Oh, that Grain.
I should have killed him, and I will. I swore I'd get him with a bullet. He's gonna give him a bullet.
One, I guess those are symbols, guy. One big-headed guy with a big mouth. Never forget any word he said. He talked himself to death. One guy.
I think that's just meant to be fucking. Like, that's the only swear I could put in there.
Anyways, we have some classic people having a normal one dialogue, just walking out going, oh, Cold stays by himself. He's carrying a hate you can feel.
And basically what that means is he exudes creepy ass energy and no one wants to be friends with him.
Like,
I imagine you go up to talk to him and it's just like, hey Kolb, how's your day doing? Fucking grain. I'll kill him, I swear. It's like, alright, I'm out of here. I don't want to associate with you.
like, we have 3 frames here. You could have had only this frame to communicate everything the 3 do.
Yeah.
Like, he is being put away. He is being put away for 15 years because of Grain. He should have killed him, and he will, and he swore he'd give him a bullet. That is all you need to know.
Yeah, and honestly, you can do much better if you just do... If you want to convey isolation, make him fucking isolated. Make that the entire panel. Make that the entire fucking page.
Yeah, like you are drawing a comic. You are making a physical medium that, like, visual medium, a 2-dimensional thing that, like, projects 3-dimensional art. And you're looking at it, and there's norms. Like, the whole point of a comic is that you're supposed to be able to simultaneously show the visualization of action with dialogue, thoughts, and context, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to try to weaponize the fact you have both.
Yeah.
And, like, clearly, Ditko knows that you can make really high concept panels.
Yeah.
He does cool ass shit.
Yeah.
Like, look at this.
It's clearly him going fucking crazy.
Like, it's genuinely like Ditko is a comic design wild mage. He'll just channel a fireball onto the page and not know why, and then not do it for another, like, 3 pages.
Yeah. Then cast magic missile for like an hour.
Anyway, so 7 years pass. He's being paroled.
Why would you ever parole this dude? Like, seriously,
Yeah, like,
the dude just comes up. He's constantly shouting about how he's going to murder Grain, how he's going to give him a bullet, how he's going to make him pay. Why would you ever give this guy parole?
like, famous in the prison for having a hate you can feel about Grain.
Yeah.
Like,
Dude has a hate boner for Grain. Why the fuck would you ever give this guy parole? Anyway.
yeah. So he goes, I'm leaving, but I'm still locked up tighter than if I was in chains. Oh, he's gonna pay in full. And then he literally walks out of the jail, and this smug motherfucker is waiting for him.
That's beautiful. I fucking love that. God. Remember our last meeting? I remember everything about you. Oh my god. What the hell's going... So he's a mob boss? So you got Rex Grain? What's that? I got this territory sewed up. Cops, politicians. What can one guy, this Grain, do to me?
And then literally this one dude being like, okay, I'm gonna wait so we can discuss the next panel.
Okay.
Just because, yeah.
He's a young reporter. He dug up some stuff. It could hurt you, all of us, and he can't be bought.
I won't be taken down by an incorruptible, virtuous, moral person. I can't be taken down by someone with moral integrity. What? Impossible. Like...
That's insane.
What do you think criminals do when they're not committing crimes? Just laughing about how they committed or intend to commit crimes? Like, there's tapes of mob bosses when they're, like, wiretapped. Most of the time, they're talking like, oh yeah, my wife made this really good penne the other day. Oh yeah, did she use the basil? Yeah, like...
Yeah, like, The Sopranos was meant to be an accurate portrayal of mobsters, basically. They have a fucking life. They go about their lives. They do things. It's not just constantly discussing crimes.
So, speaking of accurate portrayals, Here's a friend. Here's a very racially sensitive friend.
Oh. I thought, okay, going back to the last panel, I thought the dude was like a monkey.
To be fair, that is part of the design intent.
That is part of the design. I've read so many comic books in my life that, like, a monkey person doesn't faze me in the slightest.
Yeah, like, from the profile, you expect, like...
profile view, yeah. And
like, you know Solomon Grundy?
Yeah.
Like, Solomon Grundy or the Hulk, where there's clearly, like, but it's meant to be more of, like, a gorilla look.
Yeah.
And, like, a good comic artist can make it so that it's obviously an ape-based design and not, you know, and this shit.
Yeah, and he's clearly, from, like, a side perspective, he's laughing, he's like, making jokes, like, what's a grain? I'm like, okay, we got a monkey man going on here. That's fine. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's so much worse than that shot. And now everyone's fighting over who gets to kill him? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, no rough stuff. He's a pet of Old Man Ryger, the publisher of the Crusader. We mess up Grain, and that old kook will turn this state upside down on us.
Like, yeah, but what could one guy do?
I thought that Grain was a rugged individualist. We are clearly establishing that he has a protector.
Like, yeah, he works for a publisher who would do anything for him should he get hurt.
It's the classic, like, oh, I made my own way with a small loan of $1 million. Like, you did not make your own way. You were given away and then used it.
You were given enough money that most people just retire on that. And so he didn't fall for the frame. And then we say, let's beat it out of him.
So yeah, we're gonna beat it out of him, blah blah blah. This guy says he'll handle it personally. Makes his way down. Okay, Crane, name your price to lose your memory. Well, what do you want? And he goes, move! You are blocking the sidewalk.
I have a right to walk down this sidewalk, and you, sir, are obstructing it.
Last chance, punk. You talk and you're nowhere. So what's it gonna be? And he goes, you're still blocking.
Well, yeah, that's what I do in fighting games. I just block until my opponent gives up.
And let's be real, this is a genuine cool-ass move. He goes, okay, I'll give you half now, half later. He gives him a spent shell casing and goes, you'll get the lead later.
Oh, that is actually pretty cool. Yeah. Like, yeah, that's pretty fucking... Okay, yeah, that's a good line.
Like, everybody but the main character is cool,
yeah.
You know?
Even fucking Cheetah Pants chick from the last comic was, like, looked cool when she was fighting.
Anyways, back to the rugged individualist who solves this by participating in government and the judicial system and testifies and fingers the dude in court, which is how he takes him down.
While wearing a very ugly tie.
It is a really bad tie.
Oh, God. Still wearing those chains. I swear you'll get the other one fucking guy.
Anyways, so another unclear transition.
Yeah.
From...
Yeah, that's him getting arrested, and that's him being released, I'm assuming. Oh.
Shit. Sorry, I had a little moment there.
Yep, there we go. And this is them talking again outside the prison, I'm assuming.
Yeah. Like, the guy changed his tie, he has a hat and a new jacket. This dude looks about as sweaty.
There's a reason why it became a norm in comics that when you're doing some sort of shift, you use black background.
Yep.
That is why that exists, because that is an easy way to convey a shift. And holy shit, does this comic need it?
And like, duplicate cool move. This dude kept the fucking shell the whole time.
The dude, Mr. Miyagi, snatched it out of the air. Holy shit.
But so this dude comes back, and then he goes. So he fucking smugly waited outside the jail to gloat about how none of his friends were here because they're all dead or in prison. And then goes, but hey, it's the past. Flicks the lead. Goes, you got a clean slate. Only you can make it dirty again. And then literally it's just like, by the way, here's a reminder that you plan to kill me, and I will taunt you by saying, oh, well, you're a good person now. Don't ruin it.
Yeah.
Like, you're poking a bear, you know? Like
you're straight up poking a bear. The dude has had 7 years of stewing, and let's face it, probably some mental issues developed during that time because prison in the 60s and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not the best place to be. So you are literally poking the bear. He's gonna shoot you. The fact that he didn't straight up punch you is frankly shocking.
It's like when you're crossing the street, there are two duties. The primary, far more significant duty is that the car is supposed to not hit you. The less significant but not insignificant duty is you need to make sure you're not walking in front of any moving cars.
Yeah. Don't tempt fate on that one. Because, like, if you're walking out in front of a moving car, they might not be able to help it. They might not be able to help it. God damn.
Anyways, basically, so that's the scene. The guy taunts him, and then sometime later, he makes a dummy of himself.
And the guy shoots him. And then, of course, it's the goddamn thing.
But did he shoot through a tumbling card?
Maybe? Did the dummy, like, ninjutsu into a card?
Like, also, a flash photo hired killer, I will put you out of business. Mr. A, like, how did you immediately determine the exact method of operation of a hired assassin who came to kill you? Did you fucking pick his pockets and go, oh, what do you know? I found that there's, like, a little Polaroid in here, and on the back there's an address and a phone number. Like, how do you know this, motherfucker? Come on.
Yeah. Now you're known to me. You'll never get away. I'll kill you with my powers of rationalism.
Like, this exchange is happening as this dude is actively, like,
he has
firing
fired 4
rounds.
shots. He has fired 4 shots total in 3 panels.
I don't know if Steve Ditko has heard a gunshot.
Probably not. I would say probably not.
So, I don't know what time jump happens here.
Yeah, there's
but this guy
clearly
comes back
something.
in.
Like, did the fucking flash photo killer legitimately run all the way back to Kolb? Really? Really? What sort of dumbass just runs straight back to their employer?
Yep.
He's got a gun. Please save me. Oh, God. And then he's just like, nope, I'm staying clean. You hired a fucking assassin.
Also, he goes, I'm going straight. Like, when did you decide that?
Yeah. Was it immediately after? That's like... That's like people that joke and say that they're vegan in between meals. Like, that's not valid. You can't say you're going straight immediately after you hired someone to kill him.
Anyway, so now this guy's going, oh man, I didn't do anything, and now I'm in the middle without any choice. And in comes your boy.
Oh, of course he's hiding behind the door.
Which, makes it really worrying that Mr. A got caught, because, like, if you do this shit for a living, that's the place where people are going to be hiding, like, most of the time.
Like, Rorschach would not be fooled by that. He would shoot his gun through the door and hit the person in the head. Like, that's a Rorschach move.
So, don't hurt me. Please, give me a break. Like, you just tried to kill the dude and failed, and he came for you. Are you really gonna don't hurt me him?
You tried to kill the dude. Like, fired all the bullets in your gun and ran without hitting him once. And it's just a normal-ass dude. You had the upper hand. You had the gun. I don't understand.
And out of nowhere, I think unintentionally, Ditko offers an interesting point. Like, dude who was in here that the, like, hired killer came back, like, assuming that we don't count the fact that this dude literally hired the hired killer.
Yeah.
If, hypothetically, this was just one of his buddies who ran to him for help, like, this argument would be salient, where he goes, no matter how this turns out, I could be finished for good.
Yeah, basically.
Like, because of these two, again, I'm playing games with my life that I can't win. This alone sinks me. Now it can be downhill all the way back to the pen. There is no erasing this. You had to get into my life. Like, if hypothetically this dude hadn't hired the other dude to kill him, and if he was just a parolee who, like, had an old friend who came running back and a cop came in, it would be the same scenario of, like, you're probably going to jail for being in the same room.
Yeah,
like,
I'm probably going to jail for being associated with this man. Even though I haven't done anything, I'm not, like, trying to hide him or anything. He just burst in here and said that he needed help. I'm going to get some sort of shit for this.
Anyways, so
that's
now
not
you two
Mr.
get.
A.
So basically, hold on. What? So this guy goes, now you two get lost. Hey, a white suit, is that Mr. A? And this guy goes like, oh, okay, I'm going to go cut the guy's throat. And he goes, you tricked me. You lied to me. And then this dude wants to... Suddenly this dude starts going, you can't kill him. Like, no,
because he's not the one that I want to murder. He's not the one I paid you to kill.
And then he's going to kill this dude to get full credit for getting rid of Mr. A.
Yeah.
And, like...
It doesn't matter what happens, because you're going back to the pen, so either you be cool and kill him, or he lives and you go to jail anyway.
And then this guy goes, no, I won't let you kill him. Save Mr. A's life. They start brawling. This guy goes, Mr. A is going to be good and dead. He's clearly conscious and fainting. Kicks the dude in the face.
Okay, he is doing that from the ground? That is impressive.
That is some core strength.
That is massive fucking core strength. That is more than, like, a kick-up you would need to do. That is insane.
Like, with abs that strong, you must be able to shit at, like, 300 meters per second. Anyway, so, bad establishment of space here. Now this guy goes, I'm not trying anything. I know to you, I'm black as evil as they come. You're right. I'm not fit for anything. And then...
You're
no cold.
You're still white.
Like, just casually using that kind of language. Like,
you're still white. Thank God.
And then we go back to Screed with this smug-ass steel face where he goes, you did not deliberately commit an evil act. When you recognized your mistake, you tried to correct it. Ready to pay whatever consequences it might have for you. So you have earned every consideration. But those who commit evil and refuse to correct their errors are treated for what they are, willing accomplices of evil. For the traitors of good, there is no mercy, no forgiveness, no consideration. Don't insist on paying for wrongs that you have not done. Treat yourself with justice. Seek out the truth in what you do and judge yourself accordingly. No excuses for the evil, no regrets for the good. Like...
The don't insist on paying for wrongs you haven't done just reminded me of the Bloodwine episode of the Torg stuck on the bridge.
Yep. Like, literally, the philosophy behind this is what's right is already right, truth is already true, the world is already perfect, there is no gray area between good and evil, and you should not be even remotely tractable or amenable to any kind of reasoning, rationale, or change in your values. Literally, the philosophy is you're already right, everything's fine, nothing needs to change, now go be an asshole.
Yeah. And on top of that, he's contradicting himself because those who commit sin and refuse to correct their errors, compromise was a bad thing.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to compromise, which means...
It was written in the tumble space.
Yeah, it was written in the tumble space that compromise is bad. And by doing that, in order to accept that you have committed an error, is to compromise with society itself.
Yep.
And to top this all off, he still doesn't know if this dude paid him to kill him.
Yep.
And he's giving this goddamn speech.
Oh, shit, happened again.
The level of goddamn rant I need to do for that. Holy shit.
So he goes, walk out, you've paid your debt, all this stuff. I was hating and punishing myself. It has become clear to me. And so now the guy is on the good side of tumble space.
Yeah.
He goes, thanks, I have to take care of a present I swore to deliver. And then he sends him an intact bullet.
That still seems pretty fucking threatening to me. Not gonna lie.
Like, the dude, Rex Grain, who is Mr. A, knows both sides of the story. He should know that the contract killer was hired for him.
Yeah.
This is not logically consistent or morally correct.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't solve... Who hired him then? If Mr. A, in his infinite wisdom, is so certain that this dude did not hire the killer, who did?
Yeah.
Who hired him? Or was this literally like, I'm gonna do a favor for a buddy of mine and kill the guy who put him away? Why didn't you fucking do it earlier? Why didn't you fucking do it earlier?
Utter nonsense. Utter nonsense.
Okay. I think I got one more in me before I rant myself out of existence.
See what I mean? Like, sure, this is political, but it's so nonsense it becomes apolitical. It's just...
Like,
it doesn't cohese with itself.
I thought, like, we would go into this and there would be, like, discussions of, like, philosophical nature that I was just going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about when you say this. And so far, the stuff that has come up about that, it doesn't fucking matter because this is so goddamn bonkers, I can piece it together with my human rationalism.
Like, and that's the thing. The whole thing is about, rationalism, I know what is correct because I'm Mr. A and I'm really smart. And then all the examples are either, in cases like the first one, really harsh but still kind of clear, like, ethics problems that, like, a 12-year-old could figure out. And in the latter one, a broken ethics problem.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's check out this sidewalk here.
Yeah.
We are reminded, A is A. A thing is what it is. No man can have it both ways. Only through black and white principles can man... Okay, the principles guide man's basic choice of actions. Men can attempt to choose contradictions. Great principles, like men choose... Sorry.
Like men can choose to be dishonest.
Corrupt, but that choice only leads to evil, to self-destruction.
I-
What?
Okay. The statement of a thing is what it is, no man can have it both ways. Just. Ditko seems like the kind of guy who would thumbs up Snowflake in Safe Space. Like.
Just
like, he's one of the people that had to have approved Snowflake in Safe Space.
well, that's the thing. It's like, if you're thinking like this, you're so out far out of just like cohesive philosophical and moral principles that like it's not even about partisanship. It's just genuinely like things that are clear make you happy. You like good and evil, and things that are confusing or unclear to you make you angry, and so you desire to sort them.
It does start to make sense why superheroes in the 60s didn't have a moral gray area. Mm-hmm. Like, they were right, and that was that. And it wasn't until the sort of Bronze Age of comics where you get, like, Spider-Man with a drug addiction and shit like that. Which, like honestly, fucking fantastic.
Yeah, if there's anything that the New 52 has been fantastic for, it's that, like, there are comics where it turns out there is, like, something beyond this level of fucking analysis.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things where there has to be a function, there has to be a purpose to what you're doing. Like, and I don't mean like, oh, if you're not like actively like leaning hard on allegory, you're doing it wrong. Like, no, just either you are choosing to put politics into your work or you're doing it accidentally. And like when you do these basic morality plays and just say, here's clear right and wrong, all it does is belie shit. Like, if there's anything we've determined now in terms of actual politics, it's that Mr. A basically likes to shoot people who get in the way, and as long as someone has apologized and seems to be like a conservative, like never clearly stated but implicitly like biblical Christian, like I will live according to the sinless path kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is not an apolitical man. He's a traditionalist conservative who wants to shoot people.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, that is 100% what is going on here.
Mr. A.
Mr. A. We got another monkey man. Except not a racial stereotype.
Yeah, this seems to be genuinely like a bit of inability to draw face good. We also have an A-tier title, like What Happens to a Man When He Refuses to Uphold the Good. Great title.
A great title of a comic. Really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah. Grain! We're the community's leading citizens. We want you to undertake a private investigation on crime to the city, dig up facts, and we'll see that legal action is taken to wipe out crime and corruption.
We're the leading citizens!
And the guy goes, why did you pick me, Mr. Sweat?
Yeah, you know, Sweat. It's German.
And the guy goes, okay, you're the person we need, uncompromising enemy of crime and injustice. With our influence, we can force action, blah, 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 blah. We guarantee you nothing is going to stop us. We're going to root out crime. Okay.
All right.
Premise.
Yeah, that's a good premise. And you can even get into a moral gray area of they just want to sweep it under the rug.
And then, especially after watching the way that people have talked about stuff like the Capitol riots and the coup attempt and stuff like that, this guy says, I'll accept the job on the condition that justice rules the findings. Everyone will be treated according to the facts uncovered. No evasions. All he is saying here is, I agree, as long as in the end, I feel like you're doing what I want.
Yeah.
That's all that's being said.
In the end, everyone gets treated according to how I think they should be treated.
It's literally just, I'm right, you're wrong, listen to me. That's all it is. So, at his first report here, ruling racketeers, they have a hand in every corrupt and illegal operation as indicated. And he's got a stick, and there's illegal operations being indicated.
Yeah. Wow. Insane.
So, yeah, we got target the guilty ones. With them gone, criminal activity will dry up.
Oh, yeah, because that's totally how that happens, and totally doesn't form a power vacuum where people quickly try to take that power for themselves in order to get the profit.
Mm-hmm. So basically this guy goes, okay, it's thorough. How do they manage to stay free for so long? All these arrests, no convictions. Anyways, in spite of the fact that like there was at his first report, now we clearly move forward. And he goes, these are the middlemen, the corrupt. They give the criminals protection, influence, respectability, and power. You have to see the whole structure to understand what supports it and gives evil its destructive power. Again, one of those things where he just drunkenly smashes into a good point. Like, the reason that most people are able to get away with doing bad things is because there are people who are supposed to be impartial representatives of the system who make active choices to be unimpartial, you know?
Yeah. I do like the line, "Bad, the only evil is the crime leaders."
Yeah.
Okay, I watched a thing that was members of the Yakuza watch the Yakuza games, like rate the Yakuza games and discuss them. And the main thing that they said was, why the fuck is the main character going around and getting into all these fights? These people have guns. You will die. You get some underling to do it for you.
Yeah.
They're not committing crimes. They're just telling other people to do it.
Yep.
You can't argue that they're the only evil.
So basically, point made here, we want the bosses gone, not the middlemen. The only evil is the crime leaders.
Yeah, they only want to go after the leaders.
And then Smugface begins. The entire top half of the panel is starting to get taken up. It's business time, baby.
Yeah.
Evil by itself has no power. Evil survives by the power of good used in evil service. Read the report to learn how the corrupt support the evil by training and using the power of good against the good.
Evil survives by the power of good used in evil's service. The fuck does that mean?
Well, if you read the report, you can learn about how the corrupt support the evil by training and using the power of good against the good. Clearly.
That makes no sense. How do you use the power of good against the good in an evil way? This is a two wrongs don't make a right situation. Two good actions don't make an evil action.
So the guy goes, we don't want lectures, just evidence to jail the bosses. He goes, do you want me to continue the investigation? Okay. And then we know all about good and evil. That's why we're doing this. His report is disturbing. The corrupt contribute a lot to racketeers and influence their power. That's why we gotta nail the bosses.
I just like, it looks like he opened a box and just a bunch of sand came out of it. Just from that little bit of
action.
Yeah, just from that little bit of like artifact, well, not even artifacting, just fucking, it's a comic book that got scanned. Like, it's probably not in the best condition.
So we have another unclarified time jump, and he goes, these are legitimate men who have connections to the racketeers, each using the other to cheat the honest. Apostrophe space. They're all friends of ours. What? Like what? What was this choice in the dialogue box jump here?
Was that meant to be he gets cut off?
I guess. And now this guy's going, they're all our friends. This is unbelievable. It's a dirty smear. Goes, check the reports and judge the fact yourselves. They're above suspicion. I don't care what any report says. Facts can have different meanings. There are no absolute truths.
And that's when he dons the mask and decides to kick everyone's ass.
Yeah. Do you want to continue the campaign?
Absolute truth.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll let you know. Good night. This smear campaign. How could we even think of taking any position against our friends? It's scandalous. Social suicide. Why didn't Grain stick with crime bosses? They're the only ones who have to be nailed.
Yeah.
He put us, not the bosses, on the spot. Like...
You're taking down corruptions. You are the top influential citizens of this town. Obviously, there are going to be corrupt people around you. Obviously.
It's also like there's something unsettling about the vagueness here. There are just, quote, leading citizens.
Yeah.
And this is where the whole, like, being apolitical stumbles into sometimes some really strong political leanings. There's two readings to, like, there are a bunch of people in power who influence the world. One of them is, either covert, overt, or implicit secret societies. And then you can stumble between, like, reality and fiction. Or you start going, yes, the Jews. So... for the rest of this comic...
Why was that a French accent?
Because I've met French people. Anyways.
Yes. Okay. Anyways.
Just imagine you're an anti-Semite and you're reading this comic. It becomes very, very easy to project onto this, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Just a little bit.
There was an investigation into crime and middlemen, and it turns out there's wealthy elites in a cabal who are responsible, pitting people against each other. And he brings this report to the elites, and they kibosh it. And they're clearly having a secret meeting where they go, we can't do this against our friends. Like...
I like the one dude who's like, yeah. The dude has spent a lot of time reading these reports.
Yep. So that's most of the panel, goddamn.
Holy shit, look at this goddamn dialogue box.
So they're dropping the investigation. If we continue, too many innocents will get first. And he goes, I'll finish what I started on my own. They forbid him.
Yeah, well, because what's that gonna fucking do? You basically said, yes, we are paying you to investigate those people, and then after a while you're like, we're no longer gonna pay you to investigate these people, and the guy's just like, okay, I'll just do it on my own. And what? How are you forbidding it? There's no cause of forbidding it.
The baseline assumption was that these people had the power to, using the investigative work, like actually gain convictions and take down crime bosses.
Yeah.
And now they're withdrawing funding and power and material support. How is he going to do this on his own in like any way, shape, or form? How? He has been forbidden. Which, if these people are hypothetically law enforcement getting in to do research for convictions, that means that him going against that is the crime of vigilantism.
This is true. Also, by them blocking it, or them forbidding it, it could just mean that since they are in law enforcement, they will block it every step of the way.
Also, this guy says, you ignore the crime bosses and endanger the lives of decent families. Like, what did that report show where somehow he identifies the crime bosses and then exonerates them?
Yeah, the very first report was like, these are the crime bosses. I mean, don't worry about them, because if you take out everyone underneath them, they have no power. So, like, they're not the ones doing the crimes. They're just telling other people and profiting from it. So, you know, and then you have to go for the people who are funding them. Like, I agree partially with his, like, assessment of crime in this case.
Like, just, it's like you get so close to being right, you raise it, and then veer way the fuck out there.
Like, it was so, like, a typical comic would probably have these guys as the baddies, obviously, because they just scream fucking baddies the entire goddamn way. But but it would be in the sense that they are actively trying to discover their holes to cover them up, basically. Like that's the potential angle that you go with. Or maybe they are just hopefully optimistic and completely fucking blind to the fact that there is corruption all around them. And so it genuinely comes as a shock. So I'm expecting the dude on the far right to have the moral rationalization of the men need to come down. Like, the men need to be taken down eventually. That's what I'm expecting. The other two, no. They're too ugly. They'll never have the moral rationalization.
Well, let's have us a normal one and have a normal conversation where people say normal things. What is Mr. Grain, I think it's Grain, really after? The truth, justice. Too much corruption has been uncovered to quit. Eliminating idiots will not create intelligent men, and removing evil bosses will not make citizens good. It is not what you are against, but what you are for that is important. But it doesn't mean anything unless you understand what is the good and take the actions to uphold that good. When I have uncovered enough evidence, I'll turn it over to the authorities. Are these people not the authorities?
You would assume that one of them had some sort of authority.
This is... What does this even mean? The dude is basically saying, I found corruption, and we assume there's corruption because it is said that there was corruption, and he pointed at a board that said corruption, so now it's an axiom. It is assumed to be true.
Yeah.
And this guy goes, basically, like, if you remove evil, it won't make people good. Assuming kind of this, again, like, oh, there's an evil, there's a good, everyone knows what it is. And, like, if you want to understand what the good, like, you have to understand what the good is and take actions to uphold that good. That is completely independent of a moral framework. That's just believing in things. This guy's entire point is that you should believe in things. What the fuck?
Oh, god damn it. Of course, stop the preaching and be realistic. Our reputations are at stake. No, it's not your reputation. You haven't committed the crime. In fact, you uncovering this would boost your reputation so much.
So we have to stop him. He'll involve us. Well, our friends think we're going to be hated and smeared. He goes, oh, twist. Mr. Man has fist.
Mr. Man does have fist.
He won't listen to reason. He has no pity. He has to be made to give up the smear campaign. I'll get Henry Rath, Grain's publisher, to stop him.
Ah, strong-arming. Nice.
Also, to be clear, in the original one, we established that this publisher is like the rugged individualist secret boom.
He is the publisher of the Daily Crusade, which, not gonna lie, it sounds like it reports on people who are actually reptiles.
It definitely has some Epoch Times energy.
Yeah.
All right, Alex, I'd fire that arrogant, uncompromising Grain if I could. Jesus. He was my brother's pet when my brother was publisher, and his condition for me taking... Okay, so the support guy's dead. Now the brother has a death oath. That
his will says you can't fire Grain. Well, if that's not the most fucking...
That is literally max tier corruption, just you benefit.
Yeah. That is the corruptest shit I've ever seen. And it's like, also just... It's giving Grain validation. He could go out and do whatever the fuck he wants. He knows he can't be fired.
So, if he interferes or kicks him out, he'll lose the paper, but I'll do whatever I can to foul up Grain. You have my oath on that. We can do each other a lot of good, Henry. I have some very important friends. Like, again, if we go to the sort of like, it never says it, but assume you're reading as an anti-Semite, like, this is more and more painting the picture of the people in power tried to get you to do something, but you exposed them, and now they're trying to take you down, and now everyone's conspiring against you from power.
Yeah.
Just, it has a lot of plausible deniability, but also a lot of plausible buyability, you know?
Oh, I fucking love the next panel. Fucking love it. Sorry, Green, the word is out. We can't help you. We're neutral. Can't? You mean won't stand up for what is right, which means you refuse to judge between truth and lie.
And then the guy goes, truth, lie, who can ever know?
I'm writing a report about Mark Zuckerberg being a reptile. What do I know about truth?
A warning, layoff legal action will be taken against you. The innocent will be protected from unprincipled publicity seekers like you. The guy goes, if you're interested in protecting the innocent, first make sure they are, and don't provide any help to the guilty. Like, there is never any statement as to what the actual facts, events, and things happening are. They're all just abstracted so that whatever narcissistic version of your life you're in, you can go, yes, I am Grain, being yelled at by all these bad people who say I'm wrong.
Yeah. Like, who is being protected? Who hired this lawyer?
Mm-hmm.
Who is hiring this lawyer? He hasn't published anything. Nothing has been published.
I can literally imagine this scene being the perspective of, like, a reporter for, like, the Epoch Times being like, I can't believe there's a Change.org petition going around to try and get our paper not delivered directly to Canadian mailboxes. Wow. How dare these people say we're a hate publisher? Unbelievable. They're corrupt and they're conspiring against us. Like, it fits the narrative.
Wait,
this
Epoch Times is getting, like, delivered to people's mailboxes? Who the fuck is... Yeah. That's not even a subscription. I'm assuming they just drop it, right? Like...
Yeah, that's what's been... It's not everywhere. It hasn't gone directly to my mailbox, but I did see a few of them, like, because I live in an apartment building, like, out in front of the mailboxes.
Okay. God,
but that's just, like, my own personal anecdotal witnessing of what seems to be a larger thing happening.
That sounds right to me. Like, I see the mail, the newspapers put in front of the mailboxes, but I never fucking bother to pick up a newspaper. Who the fuck bothers to pick up a newspaper?
Apparently, people who read the Epoch Times, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because you can't trust what you read online, despite all their evidence being from stuff online. Anyway.
The deal is profitable for both of us. Lem, Rex Grade is snooping around, and he thinks you're tied up with the Racketeers. Goes, haha, let him snoop. I have nothing to hide. I have to warn the mob, in his own little thought bubble that's glued to his head.
The mob probably fucking knows what Grain's doing. The mob knew in the last issue what that fucking Grain was snooping around for the other guy. Like...
So now, somewhere this dude is talking to a group of people...
Yeah.
Again, the lack of establishing shots is really bad because, like, it's not clear who this is until the next one goes.
The next comic, and it's like a talk show. Okay, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So we have a sacred duty not to judge our fellow men too unkindly, to accept them with all their faults, because we are all imperfect. We're only human. And then a very normal one having crowd members like, Mr. Sweat understands human nature. It is cruel to believe that the way someone acts makes him better or worse than anyone else. We are all with sin.
Let he who is without sin cast the first stone.
So I guess this guy's religious?
I guess.
And he goes, yes, we're only human, so I don't believe in condemning my fellow men. We must show them mercy, overlook their vices, and not to expect too much of them. We're all like, it's vague as to whether this dude is like, maybe we shouldn't have the death penalty, or whether this dude is literally just like...
Maybe people shouldn't go to jail.
Yeah, like, it's impossible for people to do... Like, there is no specificity. This could literally be any politician going, we should engage in something that is nicer to criminals.
Yeah.
It's men like you, Mr. Sweat, who offer hope and inspiration to mankind by rejecting the cruel views based on any kind of logical principles or standards.
Like, this is so dumb. Because as soon as you start saying that, oh, we are all people of sin, we cannot judge others for their actions, that's just enabling them to do it.
It's not a view that a person would hold. Like, these are not people.
You only hold that view when it benefits you. That's the only time.
All this is like the impressionistic conspiratorial image of what other people getting in the way of your life might be doing, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so Alex, I forget who Alex is. Vogue, I don't know who Vogue. Vogue's son is going to marry my daughter, and Vogue's on Grain's list. He can ruin our business merger, me and the marriage. I'm desperate. Guy goes, even this guy has his price. That was his angle all along. He had us fooled. That's why he's never printed anything.
So
he's waiting for a payoff. What?
Who the fuck hired the lawyer? Who the fuck hired the lawyer? I understand they went to his boss, they showed us going to his boss and talking to the boss, and the boss making it a hassle for him to write this story. But who the fuck hired the lawyer that is going to sue him for something that isn't published?
Yep.
And Xandril saying, what the fuck is this? That is what I want to know too. God damn it.
So then we have a classic, just archetypal glue. You know what I'm saying? Good and evil seed. Hurt Grain will pay. How much do you want to bleed us for? So I'm offered a bribe from our leading citizens to protect the corrupt. Guy talks about how, like, the innocent will be hurt the most by the results of the snooping.
Keyhole snooping. I like the keyhole snooping. That's I've never heard it called that, but that's perfect.
Why should anyone assume guilt or penalize himself for another's crime? Vice or virtue isn't inherited or caught like a cold. My actions don't make anyone... This guy is literally just saying that... this is a failure to understand cause and effect. Yeah. This is like a toddler tier.
I'm neutral in this situation. All I'm doing is putting the facts out there. I am not guilty of anything. And then he bops him over the head with COVID.
Oh my god. Well, more coffee. Taking another piss because I've been tanking so much of this to get through the nonsense.
If you're wondering what this is Mr. A comic written and published by Steve Ditko, and it's so fucking weird. It's so weird. You inhuman, I won't let you ruin my deals, dirty my reputation. And then, of course, the only rational thing you would ever say after someone bashes you on the back of the head, men have to be judged by their actions. Because that's what I say when someone hits me over the head with a fucking cane. I'm just picturing that as like a default NPC in a goddamn video game. You keep fucking hitting them with a sword, and they just keep spouting, men have to be judged by their actions. Stop it, hero. Men have to be judged by their actions. Ah. And of course a cop rolls up. What's going on? Yeah. A case of assault, and I have some leading citizens as witness. Who the... Does this guy genuinely think that the people who are beating the shit out of him are gonna tell the cop that the dude that is their friend is beating the shit out of this dude? Who the fuck would ever agree to this? Oh my god. That is so terrible. And who the fuck are these leading citizens? Who the fuck are these leading citizens? God damn.
Okay, I got more gasoline.
Good, because I just gassed myself out ranting about these two goddamn panels. Why the... Okay, Mr. A says a cop shows up and asks what's going on, and Mr. A says he's being assaulted and the leading citizens are the witness. Like, they're going to fucking testify to a cop and say that's what's going on.
Yeah, like...
The best that Mr. A could get in this situation is like the kind of phrasing that would come up in the 60s where it means assault, but you're just supposed to assume that it's not. Like, oh, he's just seeing red for a bit. Like, that kind of bullshit that you play off the fact that it's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Go on, Mr. Sweat. Tell the officer exactly what was said and done. Like,
well, let's see, Mr. Sweat. Let's see what you got.
Nothing happened. Grain tripped. No one touched him.
Also, immediately verbally in front of the cop, how dare he accuse any of us? We have powerful friends. He won't get away with this.
They're leading citizens, goddammit.
And the guy goes, so is that what you claim your eyes saw? It looks like it's your word against theirs. And he goes, no, it's their actions versus my actions. They can't escape the evaluation of their actions, and they won't escape facing the consequences of those actions. Their fear is earned. Their judgment will come.
And then the police officer arrests him on very weird threats.
Okay, so, hold on. I think I'm having a little cause and effect moment here.
He got bopped on the head.
Yeah, so this is an alley.
Yeah.
The cop comes in going, what's going on? This guy goes, a case of assault. The other guy, he goes,
Tell
points
him,
to the dude,
Mr.
goes,
Sweat.
and then he goes, nothing happened. And then immediately the cop is like, it looks like it's your word against theirs. Like,
no, it's their actions versus my actions. Like, and then the cop's just standing there going, yeah, but I didn't see any of that. So I have to go based on their word versus yours. Because that's
like,
how
the cop doesn't know
justice
what's going
works.
on. As far as things go, like, you walk in, there's 3 dudes standing over a guy who's been knocked down. Obviously, you have enough visual context to go, what's happened? Who's been beating someone up?
Yeah.
The guy goes, I've been assaulted. Points to the other people, goes, go on, tell him. Like, there's a lot to be said about, like, specific parts of police training that train people to do things badly or engage in, like, manipulative interrogation techniques and coercive, like, all kinds of stuff. But, like, basic police training, just basic person training to resolve a conflict. Talk to people individually, not in front of each other. And if there's a group of 3 people and one person who is on the ground says, I've been assaulted, and the other people said, nothing happened, your conclusion is not that nothing happened because 75% of the people said nothing did. Do you have the capacity for thought? Clearly, they're all deciding not to mention that they just hit a dude. There's literally an amendment, the 5th Amendment in the US, where you have a right to not incriminate yourself to a crime. Part of the Miranda rights is about the right to remain silent. Like, these people going, no, nothing happened, is not their word. Yeah. It is a no action.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't be impractical. We can still settle this. What I want is justice, blah, blah,
blah. God damn it. He has no heart. The devil's determined to ruin us
socially. He's become a dangerous threat to the community.
I was really trying to determine what the fuck that word was. I was like, as like an individual word, and I was like, Kelly? What? Oh, god damn it. So Grain's still doing some digging.
Yeah, we teleport to the records room, and then in the same panel, but with a big black line, in a seemingly separate room, there's someone going, "Yeah, boss, he's still digging away. A pleasure, don't worry." But then that black line is still there. I think he just came. So like,
he walked into the room.
Is this just like, is the room on the one side just like 3 steps up? What's with the perspective?
I don't know. It's really fucking weird.
So then dude comes up with gun.
For knowledge.
Imagine you show up with a gun going, "All right, reporter, back against the wall and give me those papers." And the dude's response is to go, "You don't want them for any knowledge. The ruling principle of the career you chose is destruction. It's to that end you use your abilities."
Okay, bait. I'd rather slice you up with this anyway. And then he says, anyone who has that little regard for human life doesn't deserve decent treatment. And then he kicks him with COVID.
Yeah. Just... What the... Jesus. Okay.
Jesus fucking Christ.
The beating was so bad, the man is in the hospital. So now Grain is taking the law into his own hands. He's deciding guilt and administering punishment. Like, that is a crime? That is the crime of assault.
Yourself?
Unless you can prove that someone came to silence you, in which case...
Like, okay, I'm assuming that they were able to prove that the dude came to assault him because he was the one with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's easy evidence right there. He was the one with the gun, came to assault him in his place of work, whatever. So but now these people are like, he's taking the law into his own hands for defending himself against the murderer we hired.
So then we teleport with zero context again to Pollock. Fred, Commissioner, decent people demand Grain be prosecuted for his criminal attack. Commissioner goes, he did not start the trouble. It was started by an illegally armed habitual criminal. So they have the context.
Yeah, they have the context. Why are they doing this? What is going on?
Goes, he didn't have to be so violent. Goes, I'm warning you.
He didn't have to be so
Wait,
violent.
What the... Okay, we teleport like 3 times in a row. So there was that. It didn't have to be so violent.
And now we're back to the public
office.
Oh no, we're back to their office, right.
One false step, crack him down. He goes, you might find yourself tripped by other people's false steps. This guy points to the dude who assaulted him, goes, he was viciously beaten by... This is another teleport, even though this dude literally jumps from there to there.
Yeah, and we're now at like a press report, and man, Grain really worked the fucking left side of that dude's face.
Yeah. Because there's no justification for such brutality against another human being. That poor man could be any one of us. No one is safe while a wild beast is allowed to freely ravage a decent community. He has to be taught that he can't get away with... Like, if they know that he was attacked by a habitually armed... a habitual criminal who's illegally armed. Like, you know enough of the context that, like... All it would take is the police coming out and making a statement being like...
He was assaulted. We have the evidence. We found the gun. Like...
Also, there's a little bit of a bait and switch where, like... Grain is just a dude who defended himself. He's a reporter.
Yeah.
But they frame this a lot like people protesting police brutality.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which breaks because then... The problem is that they're the cops and that there aren't any cops to hold these people accountable, you know?
Yeah, but the cops are holding him accountable and finding him to be just in this situation. So how is this valid?
So then we move down a little bit. And
another jump
yeah,
to the reporting office.
We're the society to prevent cruelty to criminals, and we demand Grain publicly apologize for his animal behavior. They have as many rights as anyone else. They must be protected from the antisocial elements like your beastly reporter. Goes, please, I'll do all I can. Mr. Sweat, my dear friend, will vouch for me. Like, so now it's cancel culture, which I've said before that cancel culture, I've misspoken and said that it's not a thing. It's a thing. It's just that it is not even a remotely new thing. This is just someone going, raw, the cancel culture.
Yeah. Cancel culture has been a thing for a very long time. As long as mob justice is a thing, cancel culture has been a thing as well.
Exactly. And this is another bit where the bait and switch where Grain's a reporter and not a cop is like, if this is police brutality, and and the next panel is a citizens action group trying to prevent police brutality. This is not the same situation.
Yeah. No.
It's fundamentally changed, so it cannot be just hand waved aside. It can't be.
And even if they were like, we demand that he face trial, he did. The police found nothing. Like, the police found evidence actively proving his innocence. Like, what do you want for this? What do you want to happen to Grain? What do you want?
And people talking about police brutality is not new. BLM is just how it's happening now. But the argument has basically always been cops should be accountable for doing bad things to people.
Yeah.
This cannot be equivocated because he was clearly interviewed by the police and they got the situation and they made an assessment. It's not we have our own oversight committee, we investigated ourselves and found ourselves guilty of no wrongdoing by our own authority.
Yeah.
There is a separate, hierarchically different authority that is holding Grain to account for his actions and has already engaged in the process. The victim mentality is mad.
Oh, God. Yep. I punched a dude, and now the mob is coming for me.
I know this is, this one I believe is late 60s, early 70s. Still, 40 years ago, all you would have to do is throw in a couple lines about social justice warriors and cancel culture, and this could be... This would be today. Yeah, this would be someone complaining about how Twitter canceled them.
Yeah.
So, Grain, apologize publicly and settle, or we'll denounce you in the papers. Okay. Oh my God, print what you like. Opinions can't alter facts. Facts don't care about your feelings. You have to stand by what you do. There are too many against you. You can't win.
Fucking facts don't care about your feelings. So fucking good.
And then this guy keeps coming back going, the issue is, am I right or wrong? It has been clearly explained to you that, there are people pressuring you not to give, do you really think that you can just have your little rhetorical moment and win this? At this point, if you are a person with any perception and you're in Grain's position, you should realize the people telling you to pull the story don't give a shit if you're right and wrong, and you're not going to be able to convince them.
Yeah.
What you need to do is convince them that you're not going to, experience a heavy fallout.
Yeah.
1% empathy, and you would realize that rhetoric is not the solution here.
God, you're without heart or feelings, Grain. You're inhuman.
Yeah.
Mercy is what the guilty beg for. Justice is what the innocent victims want. And what everyone deserves.
Literally, that statement in itself is going... The people who I think do bad things should be treated mercilessly and cruelly. The people I think are innocent
deserve justice.
Should be treated well, and I am presumed to be correct. That's all that statement is.
And then he marches off, and we get another jump. And the editorial publisher denounces him, but doesn't fire him, because he can't.
Yeah. Which, this comes back to the cancel culture thing. The editorial, publisher statement, denounce reporter's tactics. He deserves public score.
This is doing nothing.
This is literally adding attention to you and, not imposing. All this is doing, basically, is going... Literally, they're granting him clemency. They're going, okay, fine. If it's really about whether you're right or wrong, we'll still let you publish. We're just going to also editorialize about the fact that we're publishing this. You are being given a platform.
Yeah. Ah, god damn it.
And then this is another moment of if you had 1% empathy, you would not write this. Everyone's against him, so he has to be wrong. He set himself above human decency. He doesn't care how cruel he is to his fellow men. Rex Grain is an evil man. This is the kind of thing that happens when people say things and you don't like them and your brain makes you forget because otherwise you get too angry.
Yeah.
That's what that is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm agreeing with him, but only because I have other context from previous things, and I do think that he is evil. Sweat is heading for complete destruction. He refuses to see the truth, so he won't be shown it. Then he will no longer be able to hide behind his self-blindness. He will know exactly what he is doing and to what end.
And, like, right after that, another zero empathy moment of, like, this person is clearly being malicious, knows exactly what they're doing, and is, like, being bad. Like...
Yep. I do appreciate the irony of no longer able to hide behind his self-blindness.
Like, how do you not realize the basic fact that when people do things that are wrong or that are against your morality... they think they are right based on their morality.
Yeah.
It's basic. Come on.
Yeah. Grain is more deadly than a plague to a decent society. What? No light?
For the kind of darkness you have insisted on living in, Mr. Sweat, an electric light can't help you. Like, this comic was written after this guy had... like an experience he failed to internalize, and this is his elevators. Like his
this is his like in the shower comeback argument.
In French, they have a really good expression, which is l'esprit de l'escalier, which is basically like as you're walking up the stairs away from the argument you have, you're going, yeah, I know what I could have said. I know what I can do to get back in there and win that fight. Like,
yeah.
What, Mr. A? No, why me? And he goes, you are going to see what you have allowed yourself to become. Then you will have to decide what course you will take. No one else can do it, for this is your last chance to save yourself. Like...
Okay. Everyone knows Mr. A in this universe, because everyone has immediately recognized him.
Mm-hmm.
So that means he basically just scares the shit out of everyone he sees. Everyone is terrified of Mr. A. So, like, even still, these people aren't being redeemed. It's like holding a gun to someone's throat and just being like, say what I want you to hear. Okay. Like...
Oh! We have
Tumblezone.
We have Tumblezone. Okay, so...
we got G&E.
Oh, wait! No! This is a speech bubble with diagrams.
Oh!
Okay, so this whole thing is being said while this dude is quivering.
Yeah.
Once you knew what was good and what was evil, you wanted to stamp out evil. When you refused to acknowledge corruption as evil, by that evasion, you refused to acknowledge evil as evil.
But E is E!
And... okay, I just want to pause this to talk about the logical flaw that takes place right here. This is actually like something that the far right does a lot rhetorically, which is basically demanding other people compromise to them, but never compromising, and seeing compromise by default as being too far.
Yeah.
This guy basically goes, there's the G, there's the E, it's a bar. If we assume this to be a spectrum, this guy is far to one side, evil is far to the other, but the thing in the middle is counted as evil.
Yeah.
It's fundamentally uncharitable, and all it does is basically any possible gray area is just E until all that's left is the tiniest shrivel of G.
Yeah. Which, again, goes back to the fallacy that he said before, which was people who have done evil and have repented and seen the error of their ways are, like, good again. Which is inherently flawed because that is in turn compromise. And this all comes down to the flaw that you justify all of your actions, but then say, no, it's okay so long as you compromise, but also never fucking compromise. So basically, live life as me. Be exactly like me, and then that is good, because you will be exactly like me. There is no compromise in these actions. The only compromise is I will let you live so long as you act like me.
Good old fashions.
Oh.
So yeah. So you refused to acknowledge evil as evil, but it also meant that you could no longer allow yourself to acknowledge the good as the good. So let's just back up. Once you knew what was good and what was evil, you wanted to stamp out evil. He assumes that this guy already knew what he assumes is the moral framework.
Yeah.
When this guy deviated from the moral framework, he refused to acknowledge that evil was evil, and then because he doesn't acknowledge that evil is evil, inherently, it is an implication that he doesn't acknowledge good as good? That is not, like, a watertight argument. Like,
yeah, I see the logic he's going for, but at the same time, no.
Literally, all you have to do to break this is go pro-social and antisocial behavior. Antisocial behavior is not a set category. Pro-social behavior is the set category, and antisocial behavior is outside of that.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah. It is very much... The refuse to acknowledge evil as evil is very clearly when he chose to cover for his friends. Fine. Yeah. The comic did show us that. Fine, whatever. And then could no longer see the good as good. That is defining his action as the good, assuming that his action was the good thing to do and the morally good thing to do.
It's also fraught because this entire time the group of people are going, hey, your investigation actually might hurt a lot of people. So as all we know, they are going, look, we get that you see an E, but from the perspective of G, we need to do G. And this guy's going, nope, E, you did an E, it's time to die.
Yeah.
So... when you refuse to acknowledge corruption as evil, by that evasion, you refuse to acknowledge evil as evil. It means that he doesn't acknowledge good as good, yet every virtue and good is a threat to your evasions, constantly exposing the betrayal, your betrayal of... Okay. Every virtue and good, which is implicitly by the statement a knowable, clear, exact thing, which is known and detectable, is a threat to your evasions constantly. This guy is basically saying, we know that virtue and a moral compass that is already preset is true, and so every time you don't behave according to that, you're proven wrong?
It's basically like, for every good action, again, it's flawed as fuck, for every good action and virtue, every single one of those is threatening to expose you simply because it exists. And by virtue of it being a good action, it will bring light to your darkness. Therefore, it becomes your evil. And then in the next statement, all of the things that shroud you in darkness keep you in the good. Like, become good. And therefore, everything is flipped. And god damn it if that's not the most ass-backwards thing I've ever heard. Yep. Just because someone steals a candy bar from a goddamn store doesn't mean they're okay with murder.
Like, it's literally that. It's like, just, you changed... So this guy goes, the good had to be destroyed, so the good became for you the new evil. The good had to be destroyed, so it became... Here, he presumes a moral framework of this dude changing morality to suit his own ends, as if he's taking the pre-assumed, already clear, like, true morality, creating a new one and going, like, this is literally just anti-progressivism. This is reactionary politics. This is going, I already know what's true, which is conservative values and traditionalism and yada, yada, yada. there's always a new word for it because
Yeah.
it's right now
it's
they like to say
constantly
Judeo-Christian values
Yeah.
or just values. But like, and saying anything that is not the existing framework is flipping our framework and doing evil.
Yeah. Oh, fucking hell. That was
So
a
you
rant
change
and a half
sides.
over this shit.
The virtues become devices that had to be damned as long as you held the distorted view of reality in your mind, you felt justified to do whatever, blah, 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 blah. But you cannot fake or create the good. You can only acknowledge the good as the good and act according. Okay, so like literally, this whole thing is supposed to be apolitical. It's supposed to be like amoral. It's supposed to be like virtue is virtue. This guy literally is just, I already know good. You didn't do what I wanted. Therefore, you have failed.
Yeah.
It all loops back to just, it's more and more words to say the same thing over and over, which is, I have decided that you have failed.
Yeah. And now, fuck if
More-
that's not a
Yeah.
text blob. God damn it.
So, just because I want to sprint because we broke so many times, once you knew what was good and what was evil, you wanted to stamp out evil. When you refused to acknowledge corruption as evil, by that evasion you acknowledged evil as evil. But it also meant that you could no longer allow yourself to acknowledge the good as good. Yet every virtue and good is a threat to your evasions, constantly exposing your betrayal of the good. The good had to be destroyed, so the good became for you the new evil. You changed sides and switched truths. Virtues became the vices that had to be damned as long as you held it in your distorted view of reality that in your mind you felt justified to do whatever you did to destroy the evil and protect the good, but you cannot fake or create the good. You can only acknowledge the good as the good and act accordingly. To act against the good, a man has to act against his own life. It is an act towards self-destruction. Now you are through faking. You are trapped in corruption and sinking into evil. Your evasions are attempts at destroying facts. Your lies are attempts at destroying truth. Your dishonesties are attempts at destroying honesty. Your vices are attempts at destroying virtues. Your corruptions are attempts at destroying the good. Your actions are aimed at your own destruction. To save yourself, you will not only have to hold evil as evil, but your every action will have to be for the good. Nothing less will do. Make your choice.
Wait, where'd he go? Crap. During that entire speech, he fucking went out the window. Now I need to find him again.
This is like the Reddit commenter who posts like 15 paragraphs and then assumes that people not responding means he's won.
Yeah.
Like, no, everyone clearly went, oh, my boy's having a little moment and maybe we should do the compassionate thing and walk away and let this be forgotten and go back to work tomorrow, you know?
Like, what this fucking screams is you send this massive fucking text to a person, or you see this massive fucking text in, like, a group chat, and then you see so-and-so is writing. So-and-so is writing. So-and-so is writing. And then all you get back is K.
This is like when you're scrolling through Facebook and you see a completely innocuous post, and then someone comments something otherwise innocuous, and then it's like hide 19 replies, and then show 19 replies, like beyond that. And then in between, there's just this dude, and this entire paragraph opens with like those Facebook tags. So it's like, Linda, once you knew what was good and what was it like.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And then this guy replies,
No, I never wanted to be evil. It's unfair. It's unpopular to hold the good as good and the evil as evil. It means one is committed to judge right from wrong and always uphold the right. You devil, why did you make me understand what I have always wanted to only vaguely feel? I committed no crime. Why torture me with knowledge of my vices?
like, God.
Why did you make me feel... What? Okay. Porn lines out of context. Why did you make me understand what I always wanted to only vaguely feel? That's a gay porn out of context right there.
That is a line that is spoken with a dick fully in your ass. It is not spoken while the dick is out. It is on the interest.
No, you are being fucked right there. All right.
That is the P spot. But, like, this whole thing is basically like some, like, haha libtards thing where it's like, man, once we expose all the Democrat lies, they're going to be so mad when they realize how evil they've been. Like, every page that passes, this guy opens by saying, oh, I'm amoral, I'm rational, and then all it is a, like, presumption after presumption after presumption, and it's like, no, you're not amoral, you're just so fucking far right that you can't tell what other politics are.
Oh my god.
You just assume them to be literal. Goddamn Satan. Don't worry, this is the end.
An act of justice to make you pay for your injustice to virtues. There is no escape, or would-be destroyers of any good. Okay, slight interjection here.
Mm-hmm.
What if the dude was just like, okay, I'll help you out. God, fucking chill. He would have done no crime. He would have done nothing wrong. Except for slander his name, which you are liable for. But still.
Well, here's the beautiful part. After this whole thing, the teleport we go to, we're in the tumble space. Evidence by reporter prompts investigation into crime. The investigation falters accusations of official leaks, political interference, and witnessing bribes. Guy goes, relax. The law nails a few of us. Without our protection by the corrupt, we could be wiped out. But as long as they're willing to act against the best in themselves, we're in business.
Yeah.
He tosses the card. Goes, those who attempt to create a fake world by evading the truth only succeed in making themselves a slave to the unreal world and a fake it. This is like spiritual dehumanization. This is the next step that goes from like, oh, you're a bit of a weirdo to this is genuine fascism. Like, this guy is going all of this stuff about I'm correct and you are wrong and what I believe is right. Then he goes, the people who are wrong, who I personally know are choosing to be wrong, are not real.
I see you have blue hair. Therefore, you have chosen to create a fake world to invade the truth.
It's the exact same shell game where you go from like the haha internet joke all the way to fascism, where you go, these blue-haired SJWs, these non-binary blue gender weirdos, they're not real. They're mentally ill. Yeah. I'm not going to ascribe to someone else's mental illness. I can't believe we're just letting mentally ill people decide reality. These damn inhuman mentally ill people, they should be put in their place. And then suddenly you're at a rally for some reason.
Holding tiki torches.
Yeah. And there's people chanting these things, but you're a very fine person, so you don't know why they're saying that. You're just there because of what you believe in. You're fine.
Yeah.
Why did it have to be true and grained right? I'm ruined.
Can I also just say, fucking called it.
And like, I also want to point something out. How does this interaction end?
Yeah. Was Sweat let off? Because it looks like he was, because he is fully in the light. He is not covered by these slash lines.
Well,
so it looks like Sweat was just like, all right, I rescind all of that.
I don't see Sweat in there though. He's tumbling. He's making his argument, going, "No, why did you have to torture me?"
Isn't that Sweat in the top left of that middle? Isn't that Sweat?
No, it's a different dude, I think.
I can't fucking tell. He draws so poorly for faces.
Right? That's why he picked this fucking mug.
This fucking dude.
But yeah, like, it immediately jumps to the headlines, so it's genuinely like either Sweat decided, okay, I'll do it, or this dude just plugged Sweat and then leaked a bunch of info.
Yeah. It's just like, we let the evil use our good for their gain at our expense. No! God damn it. Okay, that's not how that works, but moving on. Good and evil are opposite paths to opposite goals. Take your pick. It's either or.
Yeah.
I couldn't resist that.
Like,
I couldn't resist not playing into the art there.
And like going back to the implicit politics and suppose you're reading this as an anti-Semite after all this talk about good and evil, after all this talk about there are rules, there are like established doctrine, you know what you're doing wrong, you're working with the evil people. Like it just keeps fitting.
Yeah.
And there are fewer and fewer places where it doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like more and more you read this and it's like if we just take evil and strike it out and put a different 4-letter word that's a plural of a group, this gets dark fast. Well, what kind of stamina you got? Because I am pretty done.
I'm so fucking done with this comic. We gave it, in fairness, we gave it the 3-comic try, which is valid for any source of media.
Yep.
You take 3 of it. 3 episodes, 3 songs, whatever. Mm-hmm. After 3, you are able to make judgment on this. My judgment is I would never fucking read this.
Yep. And we've been zoomed in to read this, but just to highlight the nature of the...
Such a wall of text.
I'm just going to slowly scroll backwards. Like...
As a person who
at the text,
who has read a lot of manga in my life, I can say that looking at that, if I were to open a chapter and that is the first panel, I'm out. I'm out. I don't care. I'm out. I cannot be bothered to read that mountain of text. And I don't care that you created the most brilliant world that is just an absolutely fantastic world. All you need is the introduction to it. If you hit me with that wall of text for world building, you have failed as a writer. Just straight up, you have failed as a writer.
So on that note, to end this off, I just want to, like, go through these 2 paragraphs again with all the context we have now gained.
A is
A is A. That is all the explanation needed to describe Mr. A. Unlike many of today's contemporary heroes, he does not hide behind his words or mask his true feelings behind meaningless actions. Mr. A and his philosophy is readily apparent. It is as blatant as it is honest. The concept behind Mr. A is not new. He draws heavily upon the theory of libertarianism. This philosophy is, to many extents, the logical arm of the old American concept of rugged individualism.
More like it is as blatant as it is contradictory. Hey-o!
Yep. Hey-o! Slam that shit.
I think that's the best we're going to get out of that. Yeah. That's going to be the end of the stream. I'm playing Mass Effect on Monday and all that good stuff. Yep.
Actually, isn't that the cruelty run? Isn't that, ironically enough, the one where you're trying to, based on the deterministic nature of the Mass Effect universe, like, go with the, like, worst possible outcome?
Yes. The worst possible outcome that makes the most amount of people suffer. So the ending, obviously, the Mass Effect ending that I'm going to go for is having everyone read Mr. A.
Like, basically, the bad guys that Mr. A fights are not people like Shepard. They are people like Ken playing Shepard on a deliberate cruelty run.
Yeah. I am making the choice to be as cruel and dehumanizing as possible in that run because it hurts my soul to fucking do. So if you want to see that, be sure to tune in on Monday. Okay, that's gonna be it for us. We're fucking out. Bye.
Bye.